So we've been watching a little bit of EvanMC lately on the channel as he's chronicled everything that's gone on the Dream SMP, but today we're gonna check out one of the arcs that I'm sort of the least familiar with, and that is the Dream SMP Egg. Welcome back, friends, and a special welcome to all the new friends out there. I'm YoBGS, and I've been keeping track of the Dream SMP, I want to say since the beginning of this year. I've been trying to get caught up on everything, you know, bit by bit, and because of that, I've had to skip out on certain parts of the Dream SMP. One of the things that kind of got shortchanged was the egg and everything associated with it. I think Kinda Coral did a really cool egg plot analysis video if you want to check that out, but EvanMC is giving it a deep dive today, and that, my friends, is what we are checking out. Now, if you're seeing this video, I do have to ask you to check and make sure you're subscribed. YouTube has been very weird. It's like not showing my videos to people lately. It's unsubbing people, all that kind of stuff. So if you can check for me, it helps me out more than you know, and I appreciate it more than you can imagine. By the way, we got like 200 plus of my closest friends here. We're ready for the egg. We're pumped up for this. Let's check it out.
November 6th, 2020. A large obsidian wall surrounds the entirety of L'Manberg. Just 2 days had passed since Tubbo had exiled Tommy from the nation. A day caught in the middle of peace and war.
I remember it.
But what was a day in the heart of one story would be the beginning of another. As deep in the shadows, a new threat to the server had just started to grow.
See, I did not know that. I didn't realize the egg happened while Tommy was in exile. Like, I don't know why I never connected the dots, but I always assumed, like, Tommy came back, Dream got put in prison. While Dream was in prison, the egg happened. Notice the red face. I don't want to notice the red face. Eep.
Bad stood in awe at what lied in front of him. He'd never seen anything like it before. A deep red encased the entirety of the strange object. Whatever it was, it made him feel...
Oh, see there, we've already got... Look at this, we've already got the red Skepp. We've got red Skepp in the background.
Different. He thought about destroying the weird-looking plant, but immediately got a rush of fear at the thought of doing so. Confused and scared of his new discovery, Bad fled the room hoping to find someone else to show the mysterious object. As he returned to his and Skeppy's mansion, he found his friend and fellow member of the Badlands, Sam, who was beginning work on a prison nearby with Dream.
Oh my god, this is like such a head trip, because all of my timeline for the Dream SMP was completely like out of order.
Explain the situation.
This is so wild.
The two to the strange red egg.
Do you see that thing in the corner? What do you think it is?
I have no idea, but I do not like it. It just looks evil. I mean, it's like dark red.
I know, but there's something about it. It's just like...
It's almost like pretty,
Yeah.
though.
It is pretty. Like, I was getting ready to mine like a chunk, and then, oh my goodness, again, that vibe coming off of it. What do you think it is?
I don't know. Should we break it?
No! Don't break it!
There you
I don't
go,
want it
Dream.
broken. I like it.
It does have like a very, very dark vibe, though. Like,
I feel like if Dream had not gone to prison, the egg wouldn't have lived as long as it
does
has.
it kind of look like an egg to you, Dream?
It's kind of weird. I don't want to... it's kind of creeping me out. You're telling me you didn't build this?
No, I found it. And it's mine now. You know what? Actually, when I originally found it, this was not here. These little tendril thingies.
It's expanding.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I love
That's mine.
Makes me a little
that Dream doesn't
What?
believe it.
What's uncomfortable about it?
This isn't supposed to happen in the game. I mean, like, I've never seen this thing before.
I mean, in the
Get
Caves and
out.
Cliffs
If you don't
update,
like
a lot
it,
of
I
weird
want
stuff
you to look at
happens.
it.
You might as well leave.
Yeah.
I guess we'll leave you to it.
As the three left the room and made their way down Prime Path, Sam noticed
Yo,
something
any primers?
growing
We got
on the
any
side
primers
of the
in chat right now?
socializing club. A deep red vine gripped the side of the building. Bad jumped with joy at the sight of the vine, while Sam and Dream questioned how it got there.
I mean, the egg definitely has a vibe. I'll give it that. But I guarantee you that the egg is not the proper vibe.
In the first place. At Bad's request, they decided to leave the vine alone.
I wouldn't let my
and
friend bring
continue
the
down
egg to a
path.
party, I'll put it that way.
As they reached Bad's mansion, another red vine sprouted from the pond outside. This
Red
was not
vines make a good candy, but red vines make a horrible thing on your server. What's up, Glitch Games?
Incidents. Just minutes ago, the group stood in that very spot and no vines covered the wall. But suddenly, out of absolutely nowhere, they appeared. And Bad would not let anyone close to them. Having had enough of the new discovery and Bad's strange behavior, Dream and Sam decided to continue work on the prison. But Bad couldn't seem to shake his new friend. Slowly, the vines crept across the path outside the mansion and onto the other walls.
Dude, big props, by the way, to whatever thankless person did this on the Dream SMP. Like, I hate to break the fourth wall, but the egg stuff, like the tendrils, making sure everything looked right, making sure it was built out to the right places, that took so much work. And I don't, like, you can't stream that. You know, you couldn't go on stream and be like, expanding the egg, check it out, everybody. So, like, they had to do all that behind the scenes on their own time. Like, that is badass. That's dedication.
New growth was discovered on Tommy's tower, and throughout the rest of the day, Bad brought more and more people to see the mysterious
I always
egg.
forget that Callahan's kind of like the DM.
Most felt very uneasy in its presence, some even suggesting they tear it down. But others were drawn to it, unable to avert their gaze from its majestic red figure. Over the following days, new vines appeared and spread across the server. Nowhere was safe from the reach of the egg. Bad and Antfrost, seeking to please the egg, planted seeds all around the server, hoping to spread its influence as quickly
It's
as possible.
so ugly, though.
For long, Bad and Ant had gotten Captain Puffy on their side, and together, the three vowed to protect the egg and continue to plant new vines around the SMP. However, nearly everyone else grew to dislike the red vines,
Even
which continued
Skeppy?
to spread like weeds.
I didn't know Skeppy didn't like the egg. See, I am learning like a lot about this because I thought Skeppy loved the egg and that's why he became egg-defied. But yeah, that whole Captain Puffy joining the Eggpire thing, that's not gonna backfire.
Across everyone's land. And on December 9th, Sapnap and Sam had had enough of the egg's relentless spread and decided to attack it. After making their way down Prime Path past the overgrowth.
Yo, any
of
primers?
red
We got any
vines,
primers in chat?
Sam
Anybody
and
gonna be a
Sapnap
primer?
entered
Wants to be a primer?
the
Be a
egg.
primer today.
This time, the vines covered nearly a third of the room, and standing at the center of it all was Bad.
With a sword
Seemed
he
to be
can't
talking
use.
to the egg. Sam and Sapnap made their way closer, stating that the egg had done enough and it was time for it to be destroyed. But Bad could never let that happen. Before long, Sapnap drew his sword and began to attack, driving Bad away from the egg just long enough for Sapnap to ignite TNT and...
You've activated
had
its
managed
trap
to grab
card.
Quickly, Sam and Sapnap fled the scene while Bad stared in shock at his beloved egg. This was too far. Later that day, Bad brought Puffy to the egg to show her what had happened. Since the explosion, the egg had healed, but it remained very angry at what Sapnap had done. And so, Bad and Puffy
Dude,
knew...
not only do you have a violent egg on your server, but you have a violent egg that's a Karen. Like, that's the worst kind of violent egg ever. You have a violent egg Karen on your server.
They had to do something to protect it. And together, the two encased the egg in an obsidian shell with the
The
hopes
egg
of
wants
it
to
being
speak
safe
to the manager.
forever. Before we dive even deeper into the story of the egg, I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor for today's video.
No, you don't!
Himself a lovely vine. That egg. Back to the 18th with over 100 downloads.
Dude,
stayed
so
by
extreme.
each other's side through wars, conflicts, and
Good
explosions.
for him, though. I think those pay like 10K or something.
Their friendship stood unbroken next to the unending chaos around them. But something changed the day Bad found that egg. Skeppy found himself alone in the mansion built for two. And in the few times Bad did come by to see Skeppy, he only talked about the egg. How he was angry at Skeppy's wishes to break the vines at their house and how great of a friend it was. Skeppy felt Bad beginning to slip away. All the adventures they had, all the memories they made slipping from Bad's mind in favor of his new best friend. Skeppy hated the egg. All he wanted was for Bad to be there, but in its presence it seemed even that was too much to ask. And so, when he noticed Bad destroying the very vines that drove their friendship apart, he began to have hope once again. Bad, Puffy, and Ant realized that since they covered the egg with obsidian, the vines ceased to grow and their obsession with the egg had began to fade away. And as this obsession faded, the three realized they didn't actually like the ugly vines and decided to destroy them. Skeppy suggested that they break the egg as well, but something inside the three still immediately opposed the idea.
Dude, that's weird. Okay, we're skipping ahead here in a big way, because I know the saga, but like, it's weird that they're not going to be the only people who have a chance to destroy the egg and then just decide not to and just leave it be. You know, the egg, like, I get that the egg arc is super polarizing, and first of all, I didn't know about any of this, which is amazing. And second of all, like, I don't know. I think it's because it's out of sight, out of mind. Like, unless you watch bad streams, you don't really see it. You don't really know much about it. And so, like, you know, if you watch Foolish or Tubbo or Tommy or, you know, anyone like that, the egg was just sort of out of sight, out of mind, I think.
Instead, they all decided to visit the egg to try to understand what was happening.
Like, I think the biggest problem is this is not most people's main characters. And that's why people are a little harsh about it. Yo, Crocsman with the sub, let's go!
Skeppy had never actually seen the egg, so when he entered the room to a giant obsidian oval, he was a bit underwhelmed. Curious to see what this amazing egg was, Skeppy broke a single piece of obsidian to get a peek. Immediately, his friends froze where they stood, silent. Looking at Skeppy, Bad told him that he needed to leave, as just him being there was a risk to the egg's safety. Skeppy was shocked. Just moments ago, his friends were back. But now, it seemed all progress had been lost. Bad, Ant, and Puffy had forgotten why they covered the egg in obsidian and destroyed the shell, keeping it in. Skeppy knew what he had to do. Hiding in a pocket in the vines, Skeppy convinced his friends that he was learning to love the egg. Excited about his efforts, the three decided it would be good for him to stay there for a while and left him alone. A few minutes later, Bad felt something off. Immediately, he led Puffy and Ant back to the egg to make sure nothing had happened to it. As they entered the room, the egg was once again covered in obsidian, and Skeppy was nowhere to be seen.
This is such a weird, creepy, like, it's not an awful arc, but it is a horrifying arc. Like, there is so much depth here. And I honestly think that's why so many people didn't like the arc, because they just didn't know this existed. I try to stay up on everything, and I didn't know that this existed.
Not only had Skeppy covered the egg once again, but trapped himself inside, alone with the very monster that consumed the rest of their minds. He knew they had to find a way to save Skeppy, but they also knew that destroying even a single block of obsidian would expose them all again. Bad reasoned that the egg was poisoning their minds, and before they destroyed any obsidian, they needed to figure out what it was. As they removed vines around the server, Bad theorized that the people who liked the egg the most were those who spent the most time in the room with it. They all worried for Skeppy even more, as every second he spent down there was another part of him lost to the egg.
Ah, nice transition.
Sunset and night fell. Skeppy sat alone, trapped with the very evil he sought to destroy. The next morning, Bad logged on and rushed down to the egg. He planned to break just enough blocks for Skeppy to get out, immediately placing them back before being exposed again. And as he made his way to the room, he noticed that a few of the obsidian blocks surrounding the egg looked to be corroding. But there was no time to worry about that. He had to save Skeppy. And so, he got into position.
Here we go, Skeppy. Are you ready? I'm going, Skeppy. I'm going. Oh! Hurry, Skeppy. Come out. Okay, good. Oh my goodness, good. Wait, what?
Problem.
Skeppy, what? What happened to you?
Hello.
Skeppy, are you feeling okay?
I feel amazing.
Skeppy, you're red.
I feel great.
Are you sure? Hey, do you need some food?
No.
I mean, I'm glad you feel good, Skeppy, but why are you red?
I spent my time with the egg.
You were blue yesterday,
Legit
Skeppy, don't
sad.
you remember?
I remember everything.
Wait, where are you going?
I want to go in the egg.
No, you don't need to go over here. Here, let's follow me, Skeppy. I'll take you somewhere else. Up to the surface, the sky. You like the sky, right?
The sky?
Yeah, the sky. You know the sky? Come on. Maybe if we get you some fresh air, that'll help.
Skeppy had changed. Bad's best friend, the Skeppy who stood by his
Oh,
side.
that's wild. I just noticed this, by the way. Yeah, that's what I was about to say, Hydragian. Like, he's a red body now and a blue tongue.
All that time was gone. And in his place stood a shell of a person. Skeppy no longer cared about anyone or anything except the egg. He tried everything to go back inside. No matter what Bad said or did, Skeppy didn't care. He moved out of the mansion, the very place that stood as a symbol of their friendship. Bad mourned the loss of his friend. He tried everything to turn him back to how he was before. But nothing seemed to work. Puffy suggested taking one of his lives, but Bad refused. He could never hurt Skeppy. He would rather do anything. And not knowing what to...
Well, isn't that also because canonically Bad and Skeppy share the same life pool? Or something like that? I remember hearing that somewhere. I don't know if it's canon or not.
He turned his efforts to the egg, the source of all their problems.
That's wild, Ink.
Following the egg's display of its true power, everyone agreed to keep the egg quarantined to prevent any future incidents while they studied it. First, all discovered blood vines across the server were cleared, except for one on Punz's tower. This way they could make sure the obsidian still prevented the growth of the vines. Second, they needed to buy time as the layer of obsidian surrounding the egg began to dissolve. To fix this problem, Bad and Ant surrounded the egg with a second layer of obsidian to make sure there would not be any breaches. They also created a decontamination chamber at the entrance of the room as another precautionary measure.
Big brain,
Finally,
you like to see it?
because of the egg's strange effect on Skeppy, Bad and Ant decided to run an experiment by trapping different colored wool with the egg to see what would happen. As the days passed,
Okay, this
the
is where I
study
kind of come
continued.
into things.
The vine on Punz's tower ceased to grow, meaning the obsidian was still working. The second layer of obsidian also began to dissolve, and the wool experiment had some strange results. As the final test, Bad and Punz decided to tear down the obsidian shell while wearing protective gear to keep themselves safe from the egg's influence. Once the obsidian was gone, they noticed that the egg had grown much larger, having absorbed the first layer of obsidian
Oh,
completely.
damn. I did not know that. I did not. Oh, my. Because I thought the egg stayed the same size. I thought it just grew the vine.
This was concerning, but they figured the decontamination chamber would keep the egg out while also preventing the vines from growing. A few days later, Bad and Puffy returned to see that the vines had completely taken over the room. Vines reached down from the ceiling and flowers
Lord.
bloomed from the reddened ground.
What a mess.
They started to like the look of the room, but then realizing they were being influenced immediately, left. Skeppy had gotten worse. His red color became more intense and his love for the egg radiated with every word. There was no turning him back. Ant explained that the only way to save Skeppy was to take one of his lives to break his connection with the egg. But Bad once again refused to let anything happen to him. He stated he would rather sacrifice everyone on the server than kill Skeppy. Ant questioned if Bad was infected as well due to his irrational thoughts, but Bad showed no physical signs of an infection. Days passed and not much progress was being made. The egg continued to push back on being contained. Skeppy remained infected and they still had no idea what the egg even was. And so, Ant, Bad, and Puffy agreed to hold a meeting on January 14th to discuss what to do about the egg.
Oh, my time is also messed up because I swear, like, I started getting into the Dream SMP in, like, January. So it's weird that the egg has been just going on in the background through, like, all of this.
January 14th. The dust settled on a ruined L'Manberg. It had been barely a week since TNT rained from the skies above. And today, the fate of the egg would be decided. The four logged on, and one by one, they arrived at the table for the meeting.
I think we all know why we're here, don't we? As I'm sure you guys are aware of, the egg is becoming a problem. So I have a proposal for you two. Why don't you join the Badlands?
What does it offer us?
Everything. The Badlands currently is made up of myself, Ant Frost, Skeppy, and Awesome Dude. The reason why we created the Badlands faction was to protect ourselves from the chaos that was plaguing the Dream SMP. Look at where that's gotten us today, okay?
More chaos!
I don't think it's gonna work with just us four. I think we need stronger people. But I don't think we should stop there. I think I have a long-term play. I think if we release the egg, let it wipe out all of this side of the Dream SMP, let it spread, let it wreak havoc across it, while we discover a counter to it, right? We can secure our hold on our territory, then come in, and once we've figured out a solution, clear the egg, clear the vines, get rid of it, and we can take over the entire Dream SMP. We can go from being just one territory to becoming an entire empire.
I think
The problem is, like, why do you have to let it? I mean, I guess I understand why you'd let it take over everything. But yeah, like, letting it take over is he has to be under the influence right now.
you turned into a tyrant, Bad.
I don't want to take over the whole server. I want all of us to take over the whole server. If we do this, Puffy, if we do this just right, we can come together, form a unified government where all of us have equal say.
Yeah, exactly. He said government, and like Technoblade's just eating cereal somewhere, and all of a sudden he's just like, He looks around a little bit, and he just goes back to eating cereal.
Round table, as it will, where we all
This is
have
only
equal
villain
say
thinking.
over how we go about things. None of this president's nonsense.
You know what? I don't know if this is the egg talking or myself, but I'm craving some chaos. This idea you have, it's speaking to me. I don't know, and I don't know if it's you or the egg or what's happening, but I kind of want to do it. I think I want to help you guys out.
Puffy,
Aw,
I'll
I
help
see
you with
Purple's
the egg
UFO.
because I feel as
I'm like,
if there's
aw.
no other way, but I don't want to choose a faction, as I feel like factions have got us to this point.
this is what I'm thinking. We combine your territory with the Badlands territory. Puffy, Temp Alliance with your territory.
Sure.
And we can create the formation of our empire. What will we call our empire?
The
I think
Eggpire.
our unifying principle right
egg-
now is the egg.
Eggpire.
Eggpire! I like this!
Fire.
Then I hereby declare the formation of the temporary but hopefully permanent Eggpire. Are you guys ready to go release the egg?
The group made their way to the
Ugh.
egg. No longer would they contain.
Like, what an awful... Okay, here's been my question throughout this entire thing. If they really wanted to release the egg, why not expose it to air? Like, why not just completely dig a hole so that the egg is out in the open? Honestly, Lich T, you should start with the videos we're watching now from someone named evanmc. He's done a really good job, like, summarizing
The
everything.
chaos. The server would once again feel the wrath of the egg, and in the wake of its destruction, the Eggpire would rule everything. The decontamination chamber was destroyed, setting free the vines that engulfed the rest of the room.
God.
Bad Ant and Pun smiled as the plan
It's just
began
such
to
a
move
mess.
forward. They
Thank you,
imagined
Emma, for the
chaos that would
resub.
unfold and were eager for the spreading to begin. Throughout the rest of the day, the members of the Eggpire planted seeds all across the server to help encourage even more growth. Slowly, they all began to leave the server for the night. But Bad remained. His plan had been received much better than he initially thought, and its disguise had worked even better. As
Yup.
Bad made his way
That's
back
right.
to the round table, he realized there was no point in hiding it anymore.
I forgot about this. Oh, the organ music.
Propaganda coated the walls of every building. Vines spread like weeds as far as the eye could see. The chaos was beginning. And with the spreading of their message, the
Good
Eggpire
boy,
seeked
Halo.
to recruit more allies to help them remain in control. First, Bad and Ant discussed getting Eret on their side because of the power and influence he held as king. Next, they needed to convince Sam to join the Eggpire in their quest for chaos. But this was much easier said than done. Since day one, Sam had a bitter hatred for the egg and would not take it well when he found out his equals in the Badlands went behind his back. And as they expected, Sam was furious at what they intended to do, refusing to join their
I love the Minecraft just angrily swiping at the air. Like, I love that.
cause. He had just locked Dream away in prison to stop chaos and was not about to join some cult to spread more. But Bad and Ant had a plan to make him like the egg. A few days later, Bad and Ant attempted to expose Tommy to the egg with the hopes of getting him on their side.
Yeah, that
Tommy,
I don't
seeking
think
to
this
investigate
works.
the egg as a potential threat to the building of his hotel, asked Ant and Bad to lead the way. And as they approached the core, Tommy felt something strange. Tommy felt an uncontrollable urge to swear. Literally, that's it.
The egg is saying that all three of us should start swearing. The egg just told me to start swearing and that you need to swear next.
Tommy didn't seem to be affected by the egg, and in the eyes of the Eggpire, that made him the most dangerous person to their cause. Bad and Ant quickly decided that they needed to get rid of Tommy as he was unable to be controlled by the egg. Later that day, the Eggpire gathered for another meeting, this time to convince Sam permanently.
Already, have you guys seen what's happened? Okay? Dream is in jail. The server is devolving into chaos. Factions forming everywhere you look. This is a problem. We need a uniting force. We need something that everybody can agree is a bad thing to bring everybody together. People will
That is a good point. Why is Ant in a maid outfit?
think the egg is bad. But the egg is ultimately good. We all know that. Anyone who's spent enough time with it comes to realize the egg is good.
The egg is so bad.
It's not. All right, hear me out. Here's the
egg is a
ultimate
damn
plan,
mess. That's what it is.
One by one, we bring people to the egg. Get them to come to our side. Get them to see things our way. Let the egg spread its influence. Let the vines cover the SMP. When the vines have officially and effectively covered everything, that is when we come out. That is when we resolve the problem. We come in, boom, you're heroes. And that's the point. It's just we're all gonna do it under the guidance and wisdom of the egg. You understand?
No, I don't understand.
Sam, I'm trying to get through.
I
I
loathe
really am.
the egg. The egg is awful. I don't care what you say.
I know.
This is not a
know.
good thing. The Eggpire is not a good thing. This was a
I feel like Sam is like speaking for half of the audience at this point when he's saying all of these things, because it feels like the egg was really like 50-50, that like it really did divide people about the Dream SMP. I think it's just because it was such a slow burn for such a long time, when everyone was used to like lore, boom, 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 stuff happening like every month on the 16th. And then the egg was just kind of simmering in the background and people, I don't know.
bad idea from the beginning. It's still a bad idea now.
Okay, so let me make this clear. You're in no circumstances willing to back down on this issue.
No, we should not be doing this. We should be doing the opposite of this, actually.
All right.
All right. That's
All right.
fine.
That's
All right.
fine.
What? Okay.
Goodbye, buddy.
What? Bad!
Kill Puffy.
Oh my god.
Puffy ran, shocked at what she had just witnessed and scared for her friend that now stood deep underground in the heart of the egg.
I didn't know
Sam was
about
trapped.
this.
Layers of obsidian stood between him and freedom. With every breath he took, the egg seeped deeper and deeper into his mind. It was enough to break even the strongest of wills. Sam stood at the mercy of the egg for the rest of the night, alone with its raw and ruthless power. The next morning, Puffy noticed Tommy on her way to break Sam out and informed him of what had happened. Quickly, the two made their way to the egg and Puffy broke a hole in the obsidian for Sam to escape through. Sam was destroyed. He was disoriented and traumatized from
Dang.
the torture the egg had caused him. He was starved, exhausted, and just wanted to go home. Tommy and Puffy, just wanting their friend to be okay, took him home so he could rest and recover from what happened that night. When Puffy got back, she thought about everything. She couldn't believe her friends would do such a thing. Bad and Ant had changed
Oh, is this where she
beyond
turns?
recognition. Ant's eyes now is red.
I was just about to point that out too. I would assume Sam is not affected because his jewel on his tiara thing didn't turn blue
As the egg
or didn't turn
itself.
white.
She knew that if someone didn't stand up to the Eggpire, they
Good
would
lord,
overrun
this
the
is also. How would you have kept up on this? Like how? Even if you wanted to watch all these streams, it's so much
entire
content.
server.
It's amazing.
And the friends she once knew would be gone forever. Quickly, a plan began to form in her head, a resistance to the unrelenting tyranny of the Eggpire. Because she used to be one of them, she knew their true intentions and the ins and outs of their plan, making her the perfect leader of the resistance. She just needed more people. Knowing of the Eggpire's plan, Puffy also knew exactly who Bad and Ant planned to recruit next. And so, when she caught wind
She
that
had to
Bad
know
was bringing
Techno wouldn't
Technoblade
buy
to the
it.
egg, she knew this was the perfect opportunity to get him on her side. Puffy watched from the shadows as Bad and Techno made their way towards the egg. She waited patiently, carefully following their every word until Bad began to take things too far and she had to step in. Puffy explained Bad's true intentions, the Eggpire, their plans of unopposed control, everything. And Techno, knowing he could never side with an empire, sought to tear it down alongside the resistance.
There we go.
Rambo also decided to join after almost getting trapped with the egg at the hands of Bad. This was a good start, but Puffy knew it would take more than 3 people to take down the Eggpire. But lucky for them, she had a few people in mind. Having recovered from a stay with the
See, this is cool because this is the part that I missed. I was watching the setup for the Red Banquet side of things. I didn't see the Puffy counter alliance
fearing its
happen.
effect on the security of the prison, Sam was not exactly a fan of the Eggpire. And so, when Puffy informed him of what she was planning, he was more than happy to join the cause. In a land far away, rolling hills of sand painted the landscape as the sun beated down on
Las
the dry rock.
Nevadas.
A player stared. For months, his land lied
Never
untouched,
mind.
an oasis in the heart of the sea of
Foolish
sand.
land.
But that day, red vines spread like a disease across his creation. Foolish was confused. He'd never seen anything like it. He removed the vines, but a few days later, they returned. He began to hear stories of an egg, buried deep underneath the rest of the server. Stories of a mysterious power that controlled some and drove others to hatred. But whatever it was, he knew it needed to be stopped. And so, when opportunity knocked at his door, he answered. April 12th.
The shifty
A large
dance, man.
explosion is heard across the
Whoa!
server.
That's an awesome. Oh my goodness. I was completely taken aback by the really awesome shot there. I love that.
Quackity flees the egg room as fast as he can. He prayed that his plan had worked. He prayed that the TNT was enough. He
No.
was tired of this egg.
Not
its
even
influence spreading like
close.
a weed across the server and no one there to stop it. He knew that if no one else was going to do something, he would. He didn't
this
have time to
music,
see
it
the
seems like it
damage
belongs
before
in,
he stopped,
Trigun.
as he was sure Bad and
This
Punch
is
were
anime
right
music.
on his trail. But he managed to get away. And even though the egg withstood the blast of TNT, his efforts caught the eyes of the resistance. Slowly but surely, the resistance was growing. They just needed an opportunity to strike, an opportunity to take down the Eggpire for good. March 1st. Word spreads across the server that Tommy is dead, murdered in prison at the hands of Dream.
Ow! Everything
Everyone was
about that.
devastated.
Oh, what a
Tommy,
horrible
despite the
picture.
chaos,
What
was
a
a friend
grotesque
to all.
image.
And it seemed a part of everyone died that day too. Everyone except the Eggpire. Tommy's death was
Look at
exactly
puns now.
what they needed. Tommy was immune to the influence of the egg, meaning he could not be controlled, making him the biggest threat to their plan. But now that he was finally gone, their plan could move into its final stages. First, Bad and Ant managed to trap a new player, Hannah, in the obsidian cage above the egg. They hoped that in her time with the egg, she would learn to love it. And once she did, they knew exactly how she could help. Following the massive
Didn't she
explosion,
just kind of, didn't Hannah because Hannah had huge problems because she needs to, it was doubly bad for her because she has to be around roses to exist. And being in the hole, obviously, she wasn't around roses, and she was around the
Set
egg.
off by Quackity, the room was in shambles, but the egg still stood. Bad and Puns made sure everything was okay, and blocked off the room to prevent any threats from entering while the egg was healing. This also allowed for concealment while they planned their final move. An event months in the making, the true beginning of the reign of the Eggpire, the Red Banquet.
I mean, that looks cool.
In order for their true
I
plan
honestly
to-
think people would have been more receptive to the egg had they terraformed the room first. Leaving it as
they
just
needed-
like that weird garbage, I don't think anyone was interested in. So weird to see H-Bomb dressed like this. I just want to point that
a
out.
lot of people as close to the egg as possible. And because their reputation among the rest of the server was not that great, they knew that before they hosted an event as elaborate as the banquet, they needed to convince people this wasn't just another scheme. And so, it was decided. The Red Banquet would be staged as an apology. An apology for the harm the Eggpire had caused and a vow of their goodwill to the rest of the server.
Oh, get out of
But
here.
to truly sell the idea,
They expected anyone to
drastic
believe
action
that.
needed to be taken. And Bad had the perfect plan. Over the next few days, the Eggpire removed every single vine that had grown across the server. Every trace of their mission to spread the egg gone overnight. Invitations made their way to the farthest corners of the SMP. People finally started to believe they had changed. And the removal of the vines made
It was a
people
neat little
just comfortable
invitation. I
enough
kinda like
to
the
attend
art.
the banquet. And as Bad made his way down the now completely cleared path and into the banquet hall, he went through the plan one last time in his head. But then he noticed something out of the corner of his eye. His old friend, driven away those months ago by the very thing he worshipped. The only thing Bad still cared about more than the egg, Skeppy. But he wasn't Skeppy anymore.
Wait, what? What is that? Skeppy, what are you doing? Skeppy, why are you over here?
Oh
wanna
god,
be
yeah,
next
we
to
we watched this
You
on
can excuse
stream.
yourself. I've given you enough time. What do you want?
I care about you, Skeppy, and I mean, look, we both know there's nothing wrong with the egg, and the egg's great and all, but you don't have to be buddied up with it.
Then leave me alone.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I remember
Let's
this.
go for a walk.
This made me so
Do you wanna go for a
uncomfortable.
walk? Do you want to see the sunlight? You like
Nothing
sunlight?
here is new to me. I've seen all of this a million times over. Nothing you say will convince me. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Hey, Skeppy, look, it's the statue I built of you, remember?
What's it gonna take for you to stop talking to me?
Yeah.
I'll just go and do the preparations myself.
Okay,
Oh,
don't
my
come
heart.
back.
You're really
My
getting on
heart
nerves,
can't
Skeppy.
take it.
Why do you keep coming back?
Skeppy,
Come
I
back.
don't like
What?
your behavior lately has
My
been...
behavior.
Skeppy,
You have absolutely no control
It's
over
not about
any part
power.
of me, and everything you say is irrelevant.
Oh my goodness. It's not about power. It's not about control. I'm your friend, Skeppy.
I mean, you can think that.
Jeez.
You
Jeez.
can think whatever you want in your silly little mind, okay?
No,
It doesn't
no,
matter to me.
No, we're friends, right?
Sure, just leave me alone.
Skeppy, I have done so much for you, for our friendship, and now you're trying to tell me that we're not friends anymore?
I'm not saying it, I'm proving it.
You're proving it. I literally...
Hey,
No, I've
anymore.
had
You
enough.
have used
Your
and abused me,
attitude.
and you keep
I've used and
hitting
abused
me,
you.
and you
Your
continue to
attitude.
do so.
No,
Because
tell
we're
me
gonna go
I am
back
your
and
friend.
forth. Yeah,
Tell me.
my best friend. My best friend.
Ugh.
hates me.
Do you know the sacrifice?
The problem is because we know what's happening here. Like, I honestly just want to be like, can we skip this chat? Can we skip this chat? This is so awkward. This is so
that
awful.
I've made to hang out
Sacrifice?
with you, and you'd
You
rather
think
rather
you've made
stand.
any sort of
No,
contribution?
you
think you've done anything?
I'm
You
d-
seriously think that? The past doesn't matter. It's only about the future.
I mean,
and
Skeppy
the
is an
present.
alien at the
And
moment.
right now,
This
I know
is
what
not
I want.
Skeppy.
I want to go to the egg, so I'm gonna go.
No, you're not going to the egg. I don't want you to stand by that egg all
Why?
day.
Are you gonna hit me again?
I'm not gonna let you go to it.
Are you gonna hit me?
I just wanted us to hang out like we used to. Like, I did all this for you, and I just didn't want the egg to take that away.
You hear how selfish that is? You were trying to take away what I enjoy and what I like for your own benefit.
Dude, this is
actually
so
how
rough.
selfish that is of you. You don't actually care about me. Stop hitting me.
You
How many more
actually
times
call
are
that
you gonna hit me?
selfish? Take that back right now.
They
Apologize.
were all selfish, and they were
They're-
only for your own benefit.
It's just a stupid
It's
egg,
not a
Skeppy.
stupid egg.
No,
Yep,
Skeppy, no!
there it is.
Bad stood in shock at what he did, destroyed by the tragedy he just caused. He
There
remembered
it
what
is.
Ant said about killing Skeppy and prayed with everything he had that maybe, just maybe, his friend could come back. April 23rd.
Well, of course his friend
2
can come
days
back. That's
before
how
the
canon
Red
lives.
Banquet.
Well, I get what
The
he's saying.
resistance stands atop a cloud in the sky built by Foolish to discuss their plan of action. Sam informs the group that he managed to recruit Hannah after finding her passed out in the obsidian chamber above the egg. The group was happy to
I don't
welcome another
believe
member
it.
to their side and moved forward with
I don't
their
think
plan.
Hannah was recruited.
The Eggpire had been very selective about who they sent invites to, making sure to leave out major threats such as Quackity, who nearly killed the egg, Technoblade, who clearly had no intentions of siding with them and was very powerful, and Rambu, who was caught spying on the egg with Tubbo a few days earlier. However, everyone who did get an invite decided it would be best to go to the banquet to get information and to seek an opportunity to attack.
The actual Red Banquet stream, by the way, was so much fun. Like, it was so cool. Like, it was, I don't know. I always love, like, the moments in the SMP where everyone's getting dressed up in their costumes and going and do it. Like, those are always
That
fun
being
to me.
said, everyone was very wary of the Eggpire's intentions, as they knew there was a strong chance this banquet would end with blood. And so, they needed a backup plan. Knowing that they would not be able to sneak armor and weapons into the celebration as they were strictly prohibited, Sam suggested planting a supply chest in the center of the room in case things went downhill. The group agreed, and Puffy volunteered to hide the chest as she knew the room the best. Sam also informed the group that he had another plan he had been preparing. A plan that could destroy the egg for good. Finally, Quackity mentioned a secret contact he'd been talking to. A warrior, long dormant on the server, who was happy to join the fight if things got out of control. And with this, the group went their separate ways, satisfied with their plans and confident that worst comes to worst, they would be ready for war.
I don't
The
like
sun
how
ca-
purple there looked like the purple guy from Five Nights at Freddy's. That
The
was
red
slightly
shadow
terrifying.
over the SMP as it climbed above the horizon. Deep underground, in the heart of a once innocent land, hung decorations fit for the greatest of kings. Red vines reached for the ground. Chandeliers brought light to the living walls, and at the center of it all lied a table waiting to be set for the feast.
Later, Apple.
The Eggpire stood in the ruins of their meeting room far above the egg, in silence. No words needed to be said. The plan had been trapped in their heads for weeks on end, and everyone knew what needed to be done. Joining them was Ponk, who had always liked the egg, but after a bit of convincing took a greater liking to their plan.
What an awful cut. After a bit of convincing, there he is in jail.
But one seat lied empty, as their newest member was attending to her own part of the plan. The clock continued to tick until it was time. And as the first guests began to log on, everyone made their way to the banquet hall.
Ah, the spooky music. You'll love to see it. You'll love to hear it. You'll love the spooky music. It's an egg. It's an egg. Come on. It is spooky month. No kidding. Yeah, everyone at the banquet looked amazing. Like, so much time was clearly spent on those skins, except for George. George just went in his t-shirt.
I really appreciate you all coming again. I think this is the perfect opportunity for us as a server, as a community, to come together and honestly just to let bygones be bygones, to let any past issues, to set them aside.
This was so
that
trolly.
we can grow and advance from this point forward, because while there have been bumps along the way, in the spirit of, you know, moving things forward, I would just like to say that I was very,
I mean, not Ant, I suppose.
very happy
I meant all
that
of the
we
guests.
were able to gather everybody here together for what is, I'm sure, going to be a banquet that none of us are ever.
Oh, I forgot about the lava! I forgot about the lava! Ah, no!
And, yeah, thank you for coming, everybody.
Oh.
And
Thank you.
prepare to die.
What?
Lava fell from the ceiling, blocking all escapes from the room everywhere except the egg. Months of planning led to this moment, the final
Their plan
sacrifice.
worked. You do love it when
Puffy
a
and the
plan
rest
comes
of the
together.
Resistance were furious. They trusted their friends one last time and they still betrayed them. They hoped it wouldn't come to this, but the Eggpire had to go. Puffy made her way to the center of the table to the hidden chest of supplies. Finally, the Eggpire would answer for their crimes. But then...
What?
Yes.
What?
Oh. Oh,
What?
were you
Where's the stuff?
looking for
Where-
this, perchance?
Yep.
There's no way.
Yeah, Rambo was hanging out in the rat. Look,
Ow.
I even just saw him. Let me go back. Yeah, Rambo's right up there. You can barely see him at the top of your screen, but Rambo's hanging out. Rambo's vibing. Nobody seemed to mind.
There's no way.
What? How?
Hannah?
I had to tell them.
You told them, Hannah?
What?
Why? The egg.
Hannah heard everything.
Yep.
Every step
Like
of
I
their plan,
said.
every precaution they planned to take, everything. Ever since her stay with the
I
egg,
get
she
it,
was
Selena.
consumed
It
by
is
its
like the acting is amazing. The acting in this is so good, but that's the
transcendent
problem.
power. And Bad knew that as a new player to the server, she would be the perfect spy. The Resistance was powerless. In the face of fear, they had unknowingly supplied the Eggpire with the very weapons that would cause their demise. But Sam still had one last plan.
That is tragic that you told them about our plans for the armor, but something you should know.
But you've
I had
activated
another
my
plan,
trap card.
'cause I didn't trust you.
What do you mean? Another plan?
Well, I think that we all can agree this has gone on long enough now. I'm tired of all this fighting, so I say we just blow the egg up. For good this time, with an amount of TNT that it cannot survive.
But
So
you
I
don't
hit a
have
trap.
any. Wait. No!
No!
Oh, that's cool how it all turned to obsidian.
What?
What?
What? You really thought you could defeat the egg?
So
with
they
TNT?
activated their trap
After
card.
Blackity tried that. We took proper preparations and we made it so that we wouldn't have to worry about TNT anymore. Now, if you would all kindly please make your way over here, we can begin the summary executions.
What? The what?
The what?
Execution?
No. Come on. What? You see, the egg needs something, and it's gonna get it from each of you. See, in order for the egg to hatch, it needs energy, and it gets that energy by people dying near it. And that's the role that you guys are gonna fill. We're gonna kill you one by one. What did you say, Eric?
You're an absolute monster.
There you go, Eric.
A
Get him.
monster.
Why is Eric allowed to be so amazing? I just want to point that out.
I think, Eric, you would be a perfect person to sacrifice first. Excellent. I really appreciate you guys following the directive and not bringing any weapons. That's very courteous of you.
We trusted you, babe! We trusted you!
Foolish
That was
also
the
has a
first
pocket watch. I
mistake.
just noticed that.
What you think we were really going to just stop trying to spread the egg's influence over the server just because a couple people got mad at the vines? Like, come on. That's been the objective all along, is to hatch the egg. The egg wants power and it's gonna get it.
The egg is still around. People forget that.
Had enough. I am sick of this foul red stench I am tired of this endless cycle of egg nonsense. We tried to give this dreadful egg another chance.
And I think
Why don't we start with foolish instead?
we'll save the monarchy for later. Don't think we've forgotten about you, Aaron. But we can start with foolish.
Dude, this part
You're
was
too
so
bad, Ed.
intense.
This is your
This
last
is
chance
so
with me.
intense.
Your very last. I am done after this.
What are you gonna do? You're weak. You have nothing. Buffy, you were a part of the Eggpire. You could have prevented.
And look what you all turned into. I did what I needed to make sure that everyone else was protected. Because all
Except
you
for
and
your
Dad
son.
care about is the egg and yourselves. You're selfish.
Buffy, you could have stopped this if you had stayed with the Eggpire, but this is your fault.
What? No! No!
Even went for the crits,
One
too.
down. And a couple
Savage.
more people to go. Who should we do next? What do you think?
Bad! Stop!
What?
Stop what you're doing right now.
Quackity!
Stop it. Hey,
Quackity
hey,
clipped
hey,
his
hey,
mic.
Relax. Relax, Bad.
Quackity! I am
I know what you're
calm.
doing here, but stop right now. Stop right now. Look at what you've done here, Bad. This is impressive. I'm not gonna lie. This is quite impressive, everything you've done here. You have to stop right now, Bad. You have to stop.
Stop?
This whole egg thing is just getting out of control. You just killed a man. Is that what you wanted to do, Bad? Is that was that your plan all along? To kill innocent people? This
I
has
forgot
gone
Quackity started
completely
this
out of
part.
control, and I'm not gonna have it anymore, Bad. Look what you've done. Just look what you've done. You've trapped all these people, all these innocent people, in what you've disguised as a party. I'm telling you, Bad, you're a pawn to power. You're nobody, Bad. You're working for something
A
that,
pawn
quite
to
frankly,
power.
doesn't even care about you.
Can we talk about how Quackity has like some of the best dialogue in the SMP? That's such a good line.
I mean, look at the egg. Look at the egg. Look at what it means. It doesn't mean anything. How about we just stop playing games, Bad? How about that?
I can't stop Quackity, and you know why I can't stop.
You're not like this.
Yes, I am.
So how about, I'm gonna tell you one more time. You and all your buddies here, drop your weapons and leave and let all these people go.
No, you drop your weapons and you prepare. If you wanted to stop us, you should have brought an army with you.
Guess what, Bad? I did. In fact, I brought the next best thing. I brought my biggest enemy.
All right, Quackity, where's this egg thing?
Right here.
So many dogs just teleport into the room.
Let's go. Get
So
back.
many dogs
Welcome
just
him,
teleport
Bad.
in.
Welcome him, Bad. Purple.
Purple?
Yeah,
Purple?
yeah, it's purple, Bad.
Techno! You and Quackity are enemies. Why would you side
Listen.
with him?
Listen, Bad, I didn't want to work with this guy either, but this egg, it's going too far. It's warping people's minds. It's controlling them. It has no plans on
Let's
stopping. And
go!
this egg, it's the epitome of everything I stand against as an anarchist. And if I don't stop it now, it'll be the end of the world. So yeah, I'm working with Quackity.
We still outnumber you. It's 4 against 3.
Puffy saw an opportunity, a moment of weakness, the very thing she'd waited for since the start of the resistance, and having had enough of the friends she thought she had, she took it.
Ampharos, you're dead.
Wait, what?
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 Puffy,
There you
stop.
go.
Puffy, get away
You
from me.
taking my
Go,
kind of
Puffy!
weakness, Ampharos.
Puffy Pop Off!
Attack them, kill them.
Attack! Let's go! Let's go!
And now it's pandemonium.
It's gonna end here, Quackity.
You Bad, I've always told you, I've told you for so long, this stupid egg thing is just bringing trouble,
It's
nothing
madness.
but trouble, Bad.
It's pandemonium.
Let's go!
Retreat,
Let's
guys,
go!
retreat.
As the Eggpire retreated into the labyrinth of tunnels surrounding the room, the people stood frozen, shocked at the events.
Hey, we got
they
the
had
Mario
just witnessed,
music.
The murder of their friend. Quackity stood atop the egg. No matter what happened, the Eggpire was reduced to nothing, and their crown jewel now lied in the hands of the resistance. Quackity led the people to the surface, freeing them from the evil grasp of the egg. Over the next month, the server would attempt to recover from that day. Sam and Quackity sealed off the egg, quarantining it once again. Bad and Ant felt a weight lifting from their shoulders as their color returned to normal and their love for the egg diminished. The resistance went their separate ways, vowing to return the day the egg was released again. And the egg remained locked away.
That's a little bit of an oversimplification because if I remember, Puffy was like horribly torn up by all of this. Like Puffy had said she was gonna start like a villain arc after
Mere
this.
memory of a time, a dark time the server never wished to see again. And with peace finally ruling over the land, the egg, it seemed, would have to hatch another day.
But it hasn't hatched yet. They had the opportunity. Once again, like when they all, at the beginning of all of this, they had the opportunity to destroy the egg. They didn't do it. So that kind of stunk. And now everybody else had the opportunity to destroy it and they didn't do it. So who knows what's gonna be in the egg? Yeah, big shout out to all of these people. Everyone who did all of this reenactment. That was wild. That was so good. Well, expose it to, well, I was gonna say expose it to sunlight, but yeah, you don't want to do that either. Props to Evan for doing all of the everything. Props to Evan for being Evan and taking these things on, because that was remarkable. This whole thing was unbelievable. I think over on the Twitch side of things, we are gonna have time for one more quick reaction. I'm speechless. It's hard to do an outro when you just, like, it looked so pretty, so amazing, so in-depth. It covered so many different aspects, hundreds of hours of streams, and it's just remarkable. Like, I can't wait for the next one, and I even already know that, you know what I mean? So, we'll see. The next one I think would have to be Ranboo. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, big props to Evan. For the YouTube people, again, take care, and I will see you for the Salty Runback.